This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, today let's talking about workflow. Workflow is very important topic in ServiceNow platform. The ServiceNow platform will be maintaining one powerful workflow engine. So first of all, you would like to know what is workflow in generally. Workflow is nothing but a right information we can send to right person at right time. That is called workflow. And every action we can perform automatically, not manually. And when you want to automate your business process and following by the sequence of multi-step process, we can go for workflow. And what kind of actions we can perform automatically by system, that may be record action we can take it, and sending the notifications automatically. And when the SLA breached 50%, we can send the notification. And creating the task can be assigned to respective assignment groups. These are all actions we can perform automatically through workflow. So workflow is one workflow engine. It's very powerful in the platform. ServiceNow workflow will be providing drag and drop interface for automating multi-step process across the platform. And 90% in the workflow, just you can drag and drop the interface and following by the workflow editor. Each workflow will be contain a number of sequence of activities, and workflow will be providing a number of core activities. Each activity used to performing some kind of operations automatically, such as generating records, notifying the users, sending the notifications, and keep the pending approvals, and running some scripts in the background, and creating the task, and task will be complete automatically. Task will be assigned to automatically. These all the sequence of steps we can implement it through workflow. Okay, so now you need to know life cycle of workflow, right? So a workflow will be run when a trigger event occurs. The common trigger include a record being inserted or updated. So once you are inserted or updated into the specific table, the particular field in the table being set to a specific field value through workflow will be run. And theoretically, you can follow the documentation. And coming to who will create and modify the workflows. And ServiceNow administrator will be able to create a new workflow and modify existing workflow, and then can perform other operations also. Will be able to delete and publish the workflows. Okay, and these two are the special roles. So when you assign workflow creator or workflow admin role, so those people will be able to create and modify those workflows. Okay, for example, you are the ITL user. So ITL user by default cannot create any new workflow and modify existing workflow. When ITL user want to create new workflow or modify existing workflow, the person should have these two special roles. At least one as special role. Create workflow creator will be able to create the new workflow. Workflow admin will be able to edit and modify the workflow, create the new workflow, publish the workflow, delete the workflow. You can perform all operations. But when you assign workflow creator role, the person will be able to only create the workflow. Okay, so workflow editor is one application or interface for creating new workflow and modify existing workflow by erasing and connecting activities to driving process. So this is the workflow home screen. Now let's dive into ServiceNow workflow application and log in with admin credentials. Okay, so now let me open one new catalog, like a old, like existing catalog item, which is recently created. Go to maintain items. And yesterday I created one catalog item is Apple Macro 15. So now let me open Apple Macro 15 17 S Mobile. Okay, now the requirement is, so when customer requested Apple Macro 15, like back Apple Macro 7 is a laptop, not mobile. Apple Macro 17 is the laptop. So when the person is requested for this specific item, automatically our workflow will be run, and by default it will be goes to managed approval. So when customer is requested for Apple Macro 17 laptop, first of all the request will be goes to managed approval. If manager may be approved or rejected. So once the manager is approved, the action would be approved and sending the notification to customer. So your request has been approved by your manager. Same kind of, it's like Amazon, right? So when you purchase any item, okay, so by default the request will be goes to the specific department, right? And you will get the some acknowledgement also. Acknowledgement can be defining, so you are purchasing this specific item, and acknowledgement you will get to notification, kind of notification. Okay, once the manager is approved, the record action should be approved and send a notification to customer, so your request has been approved by the manager. Once the manager is approved this request, and immediately create the one more task. The task will be assigned to procurement department, and the procurement department will be checking the Apple Macro 1517 laptop is available or not in store. Okay, so then they will be completed. If the Apple Macro 17 laptop is available, so they can provide like they can deploy to hardware department. In case this specific laptop is not available in this specific store, so they can give the, like they can applying to like get the new laptop, requesting to new laptop or purchasing new laptop. So once they are ordered for this 17 like a laptop, pro laptop, so they're waiting for the order back. So once the order is back, what happened, so again sending the notification to the customer, so the order is back, our item is ready to move to the hardware department. Okay, so once the procurement department task is completed, and immediately create the one more task, the task will be assigned to the automatically hardware department. So what is the responsibility of hardware department? Hardware department, they have to set up the laptop according to your prerequisites and configure the laptop. Okay, so they can configure the five, like 8 GB RAM. By default, they're given 4 GB, and if you want to extend it to 8 GB, you can be able to extend the 8 GB RAM. And then, so if you need any laptop bag, they can provide the laptop bag as well. And so set up the laptop and available it. So once that laptop is done, laptop setup is done, then same laptop can given to the customer and pass the information. So now your setup is done and your laptop is ready to pick up. So once you get this kind of message, the requester will be go to store, and directly they can pick up the laptop. Once the customer is pick up the laptop, what happened? The task has been completed successfully. Okay, in this case, you have to understand, to deploying the one laptop, multiple departments are going to involve, right? For example, Srinivas is one new employee recently joined in the organization. When Srinivas is requesting for this particular laptop, the request is goes to the manager approval by default. It's happened anywhere in the like same process in the all organizations. So once the manager is approved, and so different tasks will be created. Once complete all the tasks, the item can be deployed to the customer. So these all the people are communicating each other in where, how they're communicating each other through workflow. So workflow is nothing but it's a sequence of multi-step process. One step is completed, another step once one task is completed, automatic assigned to another department. So that task also completed, automatic assigned to another department, like that. So these all the things will be happen automatically. It's not manually. In this case, what I can do, I will create one workflow. So that workflow will be added to my process engine. So same activity we do with flow designer, that is called flow, and workflow, execution plan. Out of these three, workflow is the best practice. And if you want to elaborate more into the flow designer also, that is separate application we can discuss later. So this moment I'm going to talking about only workflow. Okay, first of all, let me write the requirement. Notepad, employee testing, Apple Macro 17 laptop, request will be goes to manager, manager approval. First step, once manager is approved, then action is approved and create approved and send the notification. Create one more task. Task should be, don't worry guys, practically I can show everything. It's pretty much simple, but we have to understand the requirement. So create one more task. The task should be assigned to procurement department. Look, what is the responsibility of procurement department? So they will be checking the item which is available or not in the store. Okay, that is, so then they can arrange the laptop. So they can once the laptop is available in the store, the same laptop can send it to respective department, next department. Create the one more task. The task should be sent to procurement department. Once the laptop procured, then send one more notification to customer. Always we have to notify or passing the information to customer only, right? Customer is the responsible person to get the information. Okay, and once procurement department completed the task, then automatically created one more task. The task second task should be assigned to hardware department, hardware, hardware department. Once hardware. So these are the steps we have to complete. So while creating the workflow. So once when employee requesting Apple Macro 17 laptop, so first of all, the request will be always goes to manager approval. Every organization, the process will be the same. So once the manager is approved, then action should be approved and send a notification to customer. Right? It is saying so your request has been approved by the manager. And once the manager like create like a once the manager approve it, send the notification to the customer, then create a one task. The task should be assigned to procurement department. So procurement department will be checking the laptop if it is available. Okay, so they can pass into the hardware department. Then procurement task is completed. So once the laptop is procured, means it is available. Then send the like a one more notification. Your laptop has been procured. So once the procurement department is completed, a task, then automatically create the one more task. The second task could be assigned to hardware department. So once the hardware department, so they have done the configuration according to that specification. So that hardware department task also completed. And finally, they can send the one more notification to customer. So your laptop is ready to pick up. So once you got this kind of mail from respective department, directly you can go to the store, you will pick up the laptop. Once the customer is pick up the laptop, okay, automatically what happened? So the workflow will be ended and store one log message into the instance. That log message can be defining the workflow is successfully completed. The item also successfully deployed to the customer. Now let's start practically. Okay. So let's move to workflow editor directly. Workflow and workflow editor. Workflow editor is better user interface to creating and trying the workflow. Okay. Okay, so these all are nothing. This is nothing but workflow canvas pane. And if you go to the published, we can see all the published workflows which are already implemented. And if you go to checkout, so if you check out any workflow, those workflows we can see checkout section. Check out nothing but, for example, if you're going to making some changes on existing workflow, that workflow should be keep in checkout state. And if you want to elaborate more into the workflow application, and you can walk through product documentation, community site, broadcasting, and workflow videos. Okay, and next one is move to workflows. Same workflows we can see over here. What are the workflows already available? And if you go to the core activities, by default system is not displaying any core activity. Why? So when you open any specific workflow in Canvas pane, then only system will be showing the core activities. For example, I have opened this workflow. So what are the core activities are available in this workflow? Go to the core. So we have different core activities. Okay. Please do remember at least 7 to 8 core activities, which is the most important question in interview also. So tell me what are the core activities are available in workflow? Approval activity, change policy activity, condition activity, notification, on-call, service catalog, subflow, task, timer, utility. At least you should remember 5 to 6 core activities. And each core activity contain sub-activities also. Using by these all core activities, we do automate your services. I can show you practically how you can use these all core activities one by one. And one more thing. So if you want to edit and modify this workflow, for example, this workflow is in published state. Already it is working on respect to application. When ServiceNow developer or administrator want to make some changes on this workflow, so go to here and we have to first of all check out. For example, now I'm going to make changes on this particular activity. Okay, the system is not allowing to make any activity in this workflow because this workflow is in published state. When you want to make some changes into your existing workflow, first of all, the developer should be check out the workflow. So now let me check out. Once you check out this workflow, then only system will be allowed to make the changes. So now you will be able to edit and modify the this workflow activity and condition as well. Let me open this one. Now it is showing in editable mode. Once you check out this particular workflow, it won't working on any application until to publish it. Okay, this workflow is not working until to publish. So now it is allowing to modify something into this workflow activity. Okay, and if you want to know what are the workflows are check out, go to the welcome page and check out. This workflow is check out. Check out by whom? Admin. This is all information we can be able to see. Once this workflow is checked out by any person, the same person will be able to check in or publish. So this workflow is not available to other people to edit and modify it. For example, Srinivas is one ServiceNow developer, Rakesh is another ServiceNow developer. Srinivas made some changes because this workflow is checked out by Srinivas. But Srinivas is now in vacation and Rakesh want to make some changes into the same workflow. But this workflow is not available to Rakesh to make some changes because this workflow is checked out by whom? Administrator. So only administrator will be able to publish it. So once the publish this workflow, then it will be available to all users, all developers. Okay, who will check out this workflow? Only that person will be able to check it. Okay, and go to the publish. The respective workflow is checked out, and once you publish it, okay, this workflow is available to all users. Okay, this is about how to edit and modify the existing workflow. Okay, now let's talking about creating new workflow. Now I'm going to creating my new workflow. How to create new workflow? Just click on new workflow and close the existing one. Guys, let's start creating new workflow and providing the details of your workflow. So your workflow name is Apple Apple Macro macro 17. This workflow need to be run on which table? SC underscore request underscore item. Guys, please do remember. So every catalog item is going to store in which table? SC underscore request underscore item. Service catalog request item. Okay. So always we have to select the service underscore request underscore item. So these all are core activities. Just you can walk through documentation, and please do remember these all core activities. Okay. And now going to create the new workflow. Okay. So in the workflow we can provide in the details. So this workflow needs to be run on which table? SC underscore request underscore item. All request items are stored into this table. That's why this workflow needs to run on respective table. Okay. And now let's move on my description. If you want to provide any description, we can provide the description as per the client requirement, and go to the stage. So stage rendering, always you can keep it as it is workflow driven, and order by default say like a computed. Keep it as it is remaining details, and you can submit. Once you created a new workflow, by default these two activities will be created. One is the begin activity, second is the end activity. In between begin and end activity, so we have to add more activities called sequence of steps. When you want to perform the sequence of multi steps automatically, so those all the activities we have to add to your workflow. Okay, so you can be able to adjust your workflow according to your comfortable and flexibility. So workflow has been created successfully. In this case, you can follow the document, guys. Just I have changed the name, and table I have selected. Description not required. If we can select it. Stage rendering always workflow driven. Stage order is computed and submitted. This begin and end activity will be created. Okay, second step. So when we created a new workflow, by default, start and end activity will be created. And in between begin and end activity, I'm going to adding more activity to perform the operations automatically. So when we created a new workflow, by default, begin and activity will be generated. In between begin and end activity, so we have to add some activities to perform your operations automatically. So now I'm going to start adding the activities, core activities to one by one. So first activity exercise to add activities to our workflow. Okay, so we can add required activities to our workflow to performing tasks such as record and set, sending notification, requesting for approval, and activities can succeed or fail. Okay. Add approval activity. So now I'm going to adding the approval activity. What is the requirement? So when any person is requesting for Apple Macro 70 laptop, first of all, the request will be goes to request the manager approval. So everybody have one manager in real-time organization, right? For example, Srinivas is one employee in the organization. Srinivas have one manager. Rakesh is one employee in the organization. Rakesh also have one manager. So everybody when requesting a laptop, so automatically the request will be goes to manager approval. So how can you send that like at the manager approval? Go to approval activity, and if you want to get the group approval, so we have to drag and drop the group approval. So manager is the only single user, right? That's why I'm taking approval user. So only drag and drop, right? Okay. So when this line is highlighted with blue color, then only we can drop the core activity. So once it is highlighting that black color, don't drop it. So once the line is highlighting with blue color, then only we can drop it. Okay. Next one, you are going to providing the details. Next one, provide the document like following the documentation. So name is manager approval. Activity activity name is manager approval. These all are the default stages. If you want to create the more stages, I can discuss later. Okay. So the stage is waiting for approval and the conditions not required. Conditions are not required. Just we have to configure the dot working. Who is the approver? So this is the name of your activity and this activity in which stage waiting for approval, right? So we are waiting for which approval? Manager approval. Which manager? Request the manager. Go to users and expanding the fields and following the dot working and go to requesting for request for manager. Close it. Okay. So you are waiting for approval. Which approval? Manager approval. Which manager? Request the manager. Request start requesting for nothing but the person who is requesting that manager approval I want. Okay, if you want to get any group approval, you can select the specific group, not required. Okay, so that's once you are selected, then you can submit the remaining details no need to fulfill. So when you define the schedule, this schedule time they have to approve it. Otherwise, it will be approved automatically. Submit. Right now, go to the documentation and add an action. So for when the upload is rejected the request. Suppose when customer is requested Apple Macro 17 mobile, the request will be goes to manager approval. In case once the manager is rejected, automatically action should be reject and end the workflow. So we are going to complete the following steps. Add an action for when the upload is rejected. Procedure expand utilities. Okay, go to my workflow, expand utilities, then in the code palette and drag the activity called set value to the space below the approval. So this activity we need to drop where space below the approval activity. Okay, so set value space below the approval activity. Okay, then we have to fill the all required details. So once the manager is rejected, the workflow will be completed. Rejected stage is completed. And values, so approval is rejected. Approval is rejected. So once the manager is click on that rejected button, so immediately the action should be rejected and the value should be set in the rejected and submit. Okay, then scroll down. So drag from the allow box beside the rejected on the approval user to the new set value. So we have to give the connection. Dragging, okay? Simple. And then we have to drag that end. So when any person is requesting Apple Macro 17 laptop, the request will be goes to the manager approval. So once the manager is approved and once the manager is rejected, so action should be rejected and end the workflow. In case when the manager is approved, automatically one task will be created and the task should be assigned to procurement department. Okay, so once the manager is approved, now scroll down. So add one more action for when the approval is approved. So we are going to complete the following steps to add the action. So when the approver is approved, so drag the same activity like a set value onto the arrow between approval user and end. Okay, so drag the activity, set value between and like approval and activity. Yes, and fulfill the remaining details, approved and fulfillment. So once the manager is approved, request, then it should be approved and then fulfillment. Then fulfill nothing but stage. Somebody they're going to fulfill the process. Approval is approved and submit. Okay, so once the manager is approved, action should be approved and set the notification and create the task as well. Scroll down. So once the manager once the manager is approved and immediately create the one more task, the task will be assigned to procurement department. So this task marks the request to, as approved once the manager approves it. The task activity will be defining procurement to the procure iPhone like a laptop for the Apple laptop for the user. Expanding the task. Now I'm going to create the task. Expanding the task activity. So create the task or catalog task, whatever it will be, you can create it. Catalog like a catalog task or a task. So the process is like a Apple macro, Apple, Apple macro fulfillment. This is fulfillment and okay. So once the manager is approved, the action should be approved. Then immediately create one task. So once created this task, right? So the task is assigned to which table, like SA underscore task, right? SA underscore nothing but catalog task. I have to create one catalog task, and the priority should be always moderate. Based on the people availability, they can complete the task. And task is assigning to which group? Which group is responsibility to fulfill this one? Procurement group, right? And select the procurement, and we have to provide the short description. So this short description we have to define. Procure Apple Mac Pro 17 and no need to fulfill other details and submit it. Okay, so once the manager is approved, the action should be approved and create the one more task. The task should be assigned to procurement department. So once the current stage is procurement department, I want send the notification to customer. How can I send the notification to customer? So we have the one more activity called notification activity. This activity uses to mark as the request approved. If the manager approves it, then send the notification to the customer. And expand the notification and drag the activity. Expand the notification and drag the activity, sorry, notification and drag the activity notification in between procurement and end. Okay, so here we have to define the condition. So the notification need to be sent to whom, that information we have to process. Okay, now the current stage is procurement stage and the stage is fulfillment. And so we have to select the address. The notification need to be sent to whom? Requester. So click on expanding the fields request dot request for request dot request for. Who is the responsibility to get the notification? Requester. Then we can submit it. And if you want to send any notification, you can be able to send the notification also. Your current item is procured by procurement department. So once the procurement task is completed, okay, immediately create the one more task. The task should be assigned to hardware department. Okay, in this case, what you can do, create the one more task activity in between, so notification and activity, and go to create the one more task and create task. What is the responsibility of hardware department? Configure the Apple, configure Apple macro of macro 17 laptop. The stage is, this is the stage we have to define same right? So this moment hardware department is responsibility fulfill this required. Okay, so SC catalog item like SC task we have to select the as a table. Priority should be always moderate and field group. So this moment I'm assigning this ticket to this task to hardware department, and now so we can define setup or configure. Setup Apple Mac Pro 17 laptop. And so somebody they have to start like a complete the task within timeline. That schedule time also we have to define. And advanced tab we can discuss later. Just we have to add the scripting as well if required. Okay, what's the current task, current state, like a current request status in hardware? Okay, then we have to send the one more notification to customer. So how to create the notification already know, right? Just you can create the notification. Laptop is fulfillment, and send the notification to the same person, right? Request start, requesting for who is requesting for this Apple Macro laptop, and if you understand that, same message. If you want to send any subject message to the customer, you can be able to subject. And if you want to send other details about the request, you can be able to define the message as also. Okay, then submit. And every stage, if you want to send the notification, so we have to configure the notification activity. Okay, and the next one, next one. So once the hardware department is done the setup, so the same task like need to create the one more task. The task will be assigned to requester. So now the requester need to be completed task. So who is the person requesting for Apple Mac Pro 17 laptop? That person have to pick up the laptop. In this case, we are assigning the task to requester because the request is responsibility to pick up the laptop. So now we can send the notification. Our hardware is completed, and stage is pick up the laptop and create one more task. Name is pick up Apple Mac Pro 17 laptop, and the stage is delivery. So these other stages are already by default. I will show you where they are configured. If you want to create more stages, you can be able to create the more stages also. And in this case, and create the one more task, a C task, and the priority should be moderate. And at this moment, I'm not assigning this ticket to the group. So who is the responsibility to complete the task requested? Okay, so I for Apple Mac for 15 is ready to deliver. Okay, then go to the scripting tab. So here we have to write the scripting. So how can you assign the ticket to requested? So very simple to do it. And there is a one task. The task assigned to equal to current dot requested. Both are the same. Okay, so the task dot assigned to assigned nothing but so the task is assigned to whom request the right equal to current dot requesting for. So who is the requester and assigned to both are the same means the requester is the responsibility to complete the task. And complete the task means directly the person need to go store. He need to get the laptop. Okay, that is called delivery state, and then we can submit it. And I no need to assign this ticket to any group. Group is not responsibility, and directly you can be able to assign the ticket to the requester also. Okay, done. So once the customer is pick up the like a laptop, so now the like a status is completed, right? Now it's a delivery. So once the item is delivery, so we have to store one log message into our service instance that can be defining the item has been successfully delivered to the customer. So how can you store the log message? Go to utilities, and a log message. Apple Mac Pro 17 laptop has been delivered successfully. This is the message I want to store in my log message, and the name is current stage is complete. I think completed, and then delivered and submit. So once you created a workflow, then you can be able to adjust it. Okay. So once you created any workflow, first of all we need to validate it. So why we need to validate the workflow? In case if you did any mistake, so it's not allowing to publish it. So how can you validate the workflow? It may be any errors or warnings and criticals are there in your workflow. System is not allowing to publish it. So how can you validate the workflow? So click on validate it. So information is 16. There are no warnings. There are no criticals. In case if you have any warnings and criticals in your workflow, the system will be showing the information details. In my case, I don't have any warnings and like errors, criticals, right? So once the workflow is ready, okay, so you can be able to publish it. So click on this one, workflow properties, and here you will be able to see all the details about your workflow. General tab, so what is the workflow name, and it is running on which table, when it was checked out by whom, and activities, application details, and variables. Everything we can be able to see in your like workflow information, workflow properties. Okay. Okay guys, now my workflow is ready to publish it. How can you publish the workflow? So go to workflow context menu, click on publish it. Once you publish the workflow, so now workflow is ready to use it. Okay, so how can you use this workflow? This workflow need to be added to my service catalog item. Go to maintain item and open your catalog item Apple Macro 17. So where you can add Apple Macro 17 workflow, which is already available. Okay, so now I have created a workflow. That workflow is going to adding my service catalog item in where process engine. Go to the process engine tab and go to the workflow. Your workflow you can add it to workflow field and then you can update. Okay, successfully I have created a workflow. In that workflow, I have created a lot of activities as well. Okay, so tomorrow I can show you how the workflow is running. So when customer requested Apple Macro 15, Apple Macro 17 laptop, so background the workflow will be running, and I can show you how the sequence of steps will be executing one by one. Okay, clear guys. So practically I can show you how the workflow is working. So up to now, I have created one workflow. That workflow is added to Apple Macro 17 laptop. Okay, clear guys up to now. So if you have any queries, just you can walk through like a recording and documentation. Okay, guys, I'm going to end up class today. See you tomorrow.
Sir,